As a beginner, the biggest obstacle to overcome while learning to ride a motorcycle is to prevent it from stalling, especially during the launch. In my case, it took me about a month or so to master the technique of launching a motorcycle without stalling. Even after 12 years and hundreds of thousands of kilometers, I still managed to embarrass myself once in a while by stalling my motorcycle in the stop-and-go traffic. In times like that, I really wished I had an automatic transmission or some kind of automatic clutch actuation technology like in the new MV Agusta Turismo Veloce 800 SCS. If I'm correct, the MV Agusta Turismo Veloce is the first production motorcycle to have an auto clutch system. And no, it's not an automatic transmission. You still have to change the gears by yourself. It's the clutch engagement which is automatic. The MV Agusta developed this auto clutch system in association with an American company called Recluse. This specializes in aftermarket clutches for Harley Davidson and motocross bikes. In fact, Recluse actually pioneered the auto clutch technology about 4 years ago. And ever since, they have been making the aftermarket auto clutch for motocross bikes and some Harley Davidson models. The function of an auto clutch is to prevent the engine from stalling. To make that happen, auto clutch utilizes the principles of a centrifugal clutch and a manual lockup clutch. I assume that most of you watching this video knows about the working of a manual lockup clutch. So for the sake of time, I'm just skipping the explanation for a manual lockup clutch and talk a little bit about the centrifugal clutch. A typical centrifugal clutch makes use of the centrifugal force produced by the rotation of the driving shaft, which has an expanding shoe on it. As the RPM rises, the weighted arm containing the friction pads start to expand outwards due to the centrifugal force and forces the clutch to engage to the rim housing of the driven shaft. But the main downside of this type of clutches is that it takes a little bit of time to properly engage to the rim housing in the driven shaft. Also, since it involves friction and slipping between driven and driving parts, there is a loss of power as well. The auto clutch system simply is a combination of manual lockup clutch and a centrifugal clutch. The primary function of an auto clutch is to prevent the engine from stalling. The auto clutch system has a clutch basket, clutch hub, friction plate, drive plate, just like in the normal lockup clutch of your motorcycle. But where the difference lies is in the expansion disc, which is sandwiched between clutch pack and pressure plate. The expansion disc has a few spring-loaded wedges placed between its outer friction plates. At low RPMs, the spring force keeps the wedges contracted, leaving the clutch pack loose and disengaged. As the RPM rises, the clutch begins to spin fast, which increases the centrifugal force acting on the wedges. The increased centrifugal force pushes the wedges outwards and in turn pushes the friction plates of the expansion disc outwards. Then the clutch starts to grip as if you were letting the clutch lever out. Yet it self-regulates, so the motorcycle has a difficult time stalling. Even if you are in a higher gear and the engine RPM drops to a point of stalling by coming to a stop, the clutch frees up and there is no load left on the engine, so it keeps running. Which means you don't have to use the clutch to start rolling from the standstill and don't need to pull the clutch while coming to a stop. Also, if you tend to brake hard enough to lock up the rear wheel, the motorcycle will act like it's in neutral when you get off the brakes. Since there is no unnecessary clutch slipping and therefore less heat is generated, the life expectancy of these clutches are much higher. But even with all those benefits, there are a few disadvantages to this product. The first one is that you can't bump start your motorcycle, because the engine won't have enough rotational velocity to engage the expansion disc. Second is that these clutches are a bit costlier compared to a normal clutch. But personally, I think the benefits of the auto clutch clearly overshadows its minor disadvantages. So there you have it guys, the working of an auto clutch system. So what do you guys think about this auto clutch system? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Or if you loved it, please consider subscribing to the channel. See you guys next time. Ride safe.